Hey, Michael DeLeon on the road to recovery here with the Recovery Army, and while we were in LA, got a chance to sit down with, to me, one of the legends, one of the greatest guitar players I've ever known, Korn, Papa Roach, Head PE, and Wesley Geer. He founded Rock to Recovery, and he's taken his music and he's putting music into treatment centers all over the country, and he's starting this incredible organization called Rock to Recovery. We'll be doing concerts all over America, and he's surrounded himself with some incredible people, and he's doing incredible things. And I was honored to be able to sit down in Laguna Beach, California, and get this man's story. It's out there, it's been told, but the way he told it to me, I'm so grateful to be able to share it with you. Wes Geer.
My name's Wesley Geer, or Wes Geer. It used to be Wes Style back in the day. I'm the founding member of Head PE when we were on Jive Records. Left that band, got out of music for a while, and ended up getting a gig with the band Korn, playing guitar. So I was a kid that moved around a lot and really insecure, and one of the first things I would always do is connect with all the other, rocker people or whatever. And so, we started smoking weed at an early age. And from a very early age, I was just all about weed all day, every day, ditching school for weed, stealing money for weed. I mean, I was you could say smoking weed alcoholically from an early age. But I was also playing guitar a lot. People ask, like, how did you get into music? It kind of wasn't a choice. It's like I was drawn to it and I couldn't not do it, which I think you hear a lot. Athletes, the same thing. Sometimes I think passion and career calls to you. And I got kicked out of high school for smoking weed. And did I think to quit? Heck no. Went to live with my dad because he let me grow my hair out. And I drank a lot. It helped me have confidence. It helped me hit on women when I was really shy and insecure. And when Head PE started, we were called Head in the beginning, I came home really drunk, had to go to rehearsal, and I walked in on my roommate snorting something that I said I'll try, and I thought it was heroin, but when I was actually really hyper from the heroin, he said, "You idiot, it was meth." Well, I went from being drunk to writing 2 songs on the way to rehearsal, true story, one of which was called Firsty. The other one was called Second Song. First he made it on the record. Instantly I was like, wow, this meth stuff is great. I can write cool songs and I can drink more. And so how could you tell me I had a problem? I'm at the height of my addiction, doing the heaviest drugs ever, and I'm also having the biggest success. But at that point, I didn't have DUIs. I didn't have anything. I lost a lot of weight. But, so I don't think we can look at outward success as a way to say that we don't have a serious and deadly problem. Somehow I got myself off the meth when we were touring, mostly. And then of course, what happens is I started drinking a lot more. And what was interesting to me is I thought you're supposed to play music and drink. That's what everybody's doing. But I was always getting singled out as like, dude, you got a problem. We got some shows with Korn, and I hadn't seen Jonathan Davis in years. And I remember the first thing he did is like, "Hey, Wes, come here. We got to talk about this. What's your deal? I heard you get some maniac." I'm thinking, man, my reputation. They know that I, got an issue with partying. That was the way he and I connected and had a long conversation. So he wanted to get me off the Jack Daniels, right? That's the problem. Makes sense if you don't know about addiction. So Anyhow, after a long conversation, we decided if I switch to vodka and Coke, because I need the caffeine, then I'll be able to be okay. And of course, that wasn't the case. Anyhow, I crashed and burned and ended up in a rehab, you know, some years later, because I was always trying to control it, switch from this to that, don't do this, stay away from the speed, maybe if I just drink wine, all the stuff we talk about in recovery. And luckily that rehab, it was a 12-step place. And I stayed sober for a couple years. I actually played on stage for the first time in a long time at that point because Papa Roach asked me to come do a few shows with them. That was really nerve-wracking to play sober. And then I stopped working on my recovery. I stopped doing the stuff that helped me get several years sober. I almost made it to 3 years, and next thing you know, my brain went back to like, oh, beer's not your problem, just stay away from the heavy stuff. And what I learned was, even when I was controlling it, not doing anything too crazy, my light was so dimmed. I was smoking weed every night, couple heavy cocktails a night, nothing too crazy, but I was like, I wasn't going to the gym. If the phone rang, I was like, nah, I wasn't, it just like killed it, because I had already seen a glimmer of what sober life was like. I went back to what I did. I went back to the program of recovery. I decided, I got really into prayer and meditation, and I decided to start praying and meditating on like getting back into music. I started having so many weird, cool results and outcomes from that. It's really hard to explain and probably sounds crazy, but it's true. So then I said, okay, I want to get back into music. Within 10 days, Monkey from Korn texted me, hey, you want to come play with us? I hadn't talked to Korn in years and years, but I did get the gig as a result of being sober. So, wasn't it hard to stay sober and go on the road? No, because I didn't do it my first days of sobriety. I had a couple years. I was working a program of recovery daily, and I would go to support group meetings around the world. It was a great time. So when that gig was going away and I saw the writing on the wall that Brian was coming back to the band, it looked imminent. So I said, okay, God, it seems like I was meant to be a musician, and clearly I'm meant to be sober, because if I'm not, I'm gonna die. So if I'm supposed to be a sober musician, then how can I help people and make a living? And I meditated on that. Show me the way, because I was desperate. And this idea came to me called Rock to Recovery, the concept being to go back to rehabs and treatment programs and bring music. So I decided I was going to go into treatment centers and write songs with non-musicians. Since then, we just celebrated our 6-year anniversary. We have a staff of 12 full-time guys. I also created a non-profit entity under the same name so we could donate our services to places that could never afford. We got a contract a couple years ago with the Department of Defense, which is really cool that they embrace something like music therapy. And they fly us around to different Army and Air Force bases to do music therapy with wounded veterans. It's the best gig in the world. Playing with Korn was incredible, but I might have to say Rock to Recovery beats it, because how it fulfills me is unlike anything I've ever done. And so, sober life kicks ass.
Wes, thanks so much for being who you are, found in Rock to Recovery, and doing all you can to bring music into the lives of people who are seeking that journey like we're on, that we found recovery. Rockin' to Recovery with Rock to Recovery, Wes Geer, on the road to recovery. I'm Michael DeLeon. We'll see you on the next episode.